Hello everyone, this is MJ and you are at my channel called Reading This Life. My channel is where we talk fiction, friends, and fun. Today, it's way past my bedtime, but I'm here to tell you about my recent reads and a challenge update. Remember, before we get started, give me some love. You got a fresh face, MJ, today. Getting ready to get my sleep in. I've got my magnesium. Anybody out there drink magnesium? This is water. This is tart cherry juice that helps with muscle recovery. And magnesium citrate, I believe. I think. I'm not sure. But it's good to have before you go to sleep. You get a sound sleep. So, first, let's talk about this challenge update. So, as we all know, Saturday is Independent Bookstore Day. I'll put a card here, did a whole video about it. And I am on the Read What You Own challenge, self-imposed, 51 books. I started this challenge November 6th, I think. As of today, I have 34 books read out of 51. I probably should have finished the challenge by now, but I kept getting library books and new release library books because I allowed library books on the challenge. Also some buddy reads and stuff like that. So it is taking me a lot longer, but I did finish 2 this week. So I'm going to talk about those books. So Saturday is Independent Bookstore Day. And you all know from my previous video that this is something that me and my best friend do every single year, besides when, the pandy was really bad. But we travel and we go to our favorite bookstore that's like an hour away, and we buy books and we hang out and we buy swag and we meet people and just have a good old girls' time. So I'm doing that this year. So I imposed a rule, and it's the book ban spring break. I'm going on a spring break from Saturday, April 29th until Monday, May 8th. So during that time, if I want to buy a book, I can buy a book. If I want to bid on eBay books, I can do that. If I want to go to an estate sale, I can do that. If I want to go to a bookstore that I've always wanted to go to, I can do that. If I want to buy something at Amazon or Barnes & Noble or bookshop.org or anything like that, I can do that because I've been very good with this challenge, and I think that rules can be modified. So I'm not saying I'm going to go crazy at all. I don't think I'm going to go crazy. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to buy some books. And then once that spring break is over, it's back on to the challenge. Now, the one caveat that I'm giving myself is that if I buy books, I can't read them until the challenge is over. So that's kind of the compromise. Now, there is one that is a buddy read, so I'm going to gift myself that. And I have a gift card that I'm going to use. So that one I can read while I'm on the challenge because I want to read it in May. And that's Monsterilio. He's so cute. So yeah, so that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Hashtag my challenge, my rules. All right, so let's talk about what I read this week. So this month, I read it and I finished it, and this is Umberto Eco, The Name of the Rose, and this was crazy. It was a trip down memory lane for me. Why was it a trip down memory lane? Because I have a Roman Catholic upbringing, and there's a lot of stuff in here that reminded me about my religion. I loved. Now, first of all, okay, let's get this straight. This isn't one of these books where I can just sit down and engulf in a weekend. I had to chunk this out for myself. So I would do little bits every day. It was digestible for me that way. This is a 13th century detective story. Umberto Eco is very, I'm not going to say descriptive, but he's very wordy. He goes on, sometimes on and on about certain subjects. But he does paint the characters fully. He doesn't compromise on that. He doesn't scrimp on that. I saw the movie when I was probably in high school or college, and I didn't really remember it. I just remembered Sean Connery and Christian Slater. I didn't remember exactly what happened, but I'll tell you what, the third of the book, no, let's say the first half of the book, it's a little bit of a slow burn. The second half of the book, oh yeah, it kicks into gear, and I did not expect what was presented. It hit me from left field. I'm glad that I read it. I'm glad that I didn't DNF it. I don't think I even thought about DNFing it. It's not my cup of tea, but because of, I guess, the religious nature of it, it made me want to continue on. So I did the audiobook and the physical book for this. You are immersed into this world, which was one thing that I loved. You have this richness, this fullness that is described. I don't think I've read anything like that before, and it was enjoyable to me. And I think that's one of the reasons why I stuck with the book. I wish Jason Harrigan was around. Jason, if you're watching, I read it, I finished it, I liked it, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I don't know if I'm going to read anything else by Umberto Eco. Maybe. But I thought it was entertaining, thought-provoking. The female in me did not like the use of the woman is the devil's tool, the whore of Babylon. So when I say it was a 13th century detective novel, that's what it is. There are some grisly goings on at an abbey, and a brother turns into a detective and tries to solve what's going on. It's kind of interesting because the next book that I'm reading now is detective, and this is a book from the 80s. 1997. So I'm getting 13th century detective, and then I'm getting 90s detective, which is actually really, really good. So yes. So The Name of the Rose, I really, really enjoyed it. Like I said, slow burn, small doses, but I was able to finish through, and it really is a different type of book. So I recommend it if you are someone that enjoys literary fiction, that you enjoy antiquated fiction. Is that a thing? It's just something different, and it's unique, and I've never read anything like it before. So if it piques your interest, go ahead and go forth with it. I did enjoy all of the religious references. It brought me right back to growing up. And, you know, the visions that they were having and how it was just depicted. You have to experience it. I'm not going to go through with it, but it's pretty incredible writing. I think it could have been condensed a little bit, though. That's the only thing. Okay. So that is The Name of the Rose. Okay, then today I finished. So Name of the Rose I finished on Sunday. Today I finished Checkout 19, and this is by Claire-Louise Bennett. This is one of the New York Times, one of the top recommended books of 2022. Los Angeles Times says wildly imaginative, unabashedly odd. This book if you have been following my channel, you know that I have a love affair with the book O Caledonia. I'll put a card here if you don't know about this book. It's a very unique, strange, gothic, adorable, poignant, mischievous book. And this, check out 19, gave me similar vibes in the way it was written. This book opens as a love letter to books and to writers and to libraries. It's wonderful. It's different. It's different. I think the average rating on Goodreads might have been 3 stars. And I can see why, because it has more of a literary fiction type vibe to it. There are so many different authors that are mentioned, so many different environments, so many different stories that are developed. And it's really, really interesting. Here's my review on Goodreads. What a lovely book. Funny, quirky, heartfelt. The writing gave me O Caledonia vibes. Named as one of the best books of 2022 by the New York Times, I can see why. It's a love letter to books and readers, recommended for more of a literary fiction reader. It's one of those books that you come across. And I think the last time I got this vibe, besides O Caledonia, probably was spring. Was it spring or autumn? Might have been autumn. By, gosh, I can't think of her name. Allie Smith. Gives me a little Allie Smith vibes too. So I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. Different, unique. Actually turned me on to a new author I've never heard of, Anna Quinn. The story behind Anna Quinn came out through the story, and she definitely is an author that I want to check out. So if you love reading and books and literature and stories, and one of those books that kind of takes you on a journey, but not, then maybe check out 19 is for you. Okay, and then last, I read The Patient Routine by Luna Ray Hall. This is a short story, and I thought it was more of a poetic vibe to it than a short story, but I appreciated it either way. So this is a horror short story. I wanted to start Horror Mayhem a little early. This is an advanced reader copy from NetGalley. Here's my review from Goodreads. What a fascinating read. I was immediately drawn in, nervous, curious, grossed out, but I wanted more. There's a lot of body horror in here, and there's a lot of insecty type things. I could go through them, but there are a number of trigger warnings in here, just so you know. But wanted more, questioning what was happening, and loved every page. A unique book with a very unique style. Now the unique style, not gonna lie, gave me a little House of Leaves. But also E.E. Cummings. E.E. Cummings is one of my favorite poets, and he does that where the words kind of float all over the page. House of Leaves did that too. So you have bits of that in there, but it was good. And the cover for it is really what drew me in. Here's the cover for it. I don't know if you could see it. But it is just darkly delicious. That's all I could say. Really, really good. If you're a fast reader, you'll devour this in 2 hours. If you're a slower reader, just take little bits. I think I did it in like 2 days? 2 days, 3 days, maybe 3 days. I kind of chunked it out a little bit. But I loved it. So yeah, there's definitely trigger warnings in there, so check to make sure that everything's okay before you do anything. And then this weekend, starting tomorrow, this is going to be my read, Detective Arthur Haley. This has to go back to the library on Monday. So I'm going to finish it. I'm not much into it. I'm only like 20 some pages in, but it's good. It should read fast. It's a detective story. You know how that goes. And this is for Michael Romeo Talks Books. He's doing an Arthur Haley in April event. I think that's everything. So I'm going to come on again. So that's my wrap up for the week. And I'm probably going to be back with my May TBR to let you know what I'm going to be reading. Yeah, and it's going to be good. Independent bookstore days coming up. It's going to be all right. It's going to be a fun week. So I hope you are all, I'm exhausted, guys. I don't know if you can tell, but I am exhausted. My thoughts aren't with me anymore. Okay. I hope you are all doing well. Make sure you are taking care of yourself so you can take care of others. And I will see you in my next video where I will be perky and prettier, I promise. And whether that be sooner or later. So until next time, everyone, goodbye for now.